The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello and welcome to the Tap the Table show. I am your host, Marie-Chantal, and today we have a guest from Schilling Beer, John Lenzini. How are you doing today?
Great, Marie. How are you?
Good, good.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, well, beautiful. So, do you like cooking?
I do. I'm not, I don't get a lot of opportunity to do it. I'm spending most of my time brewing beer, but yeah, I love cooking.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, today we're actually going to be doing a dessert with one of your beers.
Great.
It's called Poppy's Moonship.
That's right.
Correct. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do our own version of our Lemon Moonringue Pie, and it's actually be called Lemon Moonringue Dessert. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with adding our beer, and for this recipe, it does call for a little bit of kind of letting the beer breathe. Yeah. So it will kind of help with it not foaming up too much. And all these recipes will be available on our Facebook page on Tap to Table. So we're actually going to be using 4 cups. So that was, 2 cups. All right. See, I haven't drank already, so you know. Okay. I'm going to put this here. And so when we're putting this beer, we're going to like get the motion going. And what I have here, have you heard of xanthan gum?
I have.
You have?
Yeah,
So
I'm a chemist in my former life.
Oh, you are? Actually, I took a little bit of like organic chem.
Yeah,
I took it during the summertime because it was the easiest way to get rid of the
Fast
gut.
and furious.
Fast and furious, exactly. So what this is, it's going to help. I'm sprinkling in here, and we are going to help thicken up the beer. And try not to make so much noise as we're. So as this continues to turn and it's going to kind of start thickening, we're going to add some lemon zest. The lemon zest I like to use is probably about a good 3 teaspoons that we're going to add in here for flavor. While I'm sprinkling the lemon zest, because we got to keep you preoccupied doing something. So have you ever cut basil before?
Yeah, my knife skills are not great, but I can get it cut.
Okay, so one thing that it would be kind of easy to do, especially with basil, you want to pull off like all your larger pieces, like such. So right now we're going to use about 4 large leaves. And then what you do is you're going to take them, you're going to
overlay.
Yes, yeah. And then kind of roll it up. And we're going to, choppity chop.
All right, can do.
Can do. Okay. All right, add some of this lemon zest in here. Add a little bit of flavor. Because the notes of this beer, I noticed it's very champagne-y. It has a sourness to it, which I really, really like.
Yep.
And hence, when I was trying to create something with this, I noticed that the lemon flavor kind of really brought out a lot more of the beer quality.
Absolutely.
So,
well, and the beer's a very, very traditional German product. And so the flavors that are developed in the beer are certainly the tart, but there's also coriander in the beer. So that actually lends a lot of that lemony flavor. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that the lemon actually accentuates some of the flavor that you're getting there.
Oh, yeah. I love it. It was absolutely beautiful with that. So, so let me turn this off a little bit, kind of motion some of this in here. And as it gets kind of thick. But, all right. All right, so we're going to speed it up a little bit. So this will typically, I recommend to kind of keep it blended for a good 4 minutes. And then what you're going to do is After we're going to add now the basil in here. If you want to sprinkle the basil, we're going to, and the basil, it's about half of a tablespoon that we're using in here. And the basil, what I like, it brings a lot of like the sweet notes into it, but it's also a good way to kind of enhance also some of that lemon flavor.
Sure.
So it adds like a nice little touch. And we're going to blend it in for about, like I said, 4 minutes, and then from that point on, we're going to refrigerate it, and it will kind of help to kind of get more gelatinous.
Great.
And like stay put in its spot. So.
I can really smell that. It smells great.
Yeah, that beer is, yeah.
Well,
it was like a love. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really good.
Well, I was really curious to see what you would come up with this because it's such an assertive flavor. It's so unique. You know, it definitely is. I think would add a lot to really any recipe. It could probably.
Oh yeah. There's like, I'm thinking lemon chicken.
Yeah,
I mean, the list can kind of go on with that. All right. So you'll notice when you're blending everything up, how some of it is. Oops. Oh, it's getting kind of gelatinous. It's kind of hard to probably see, but you will notice that it is. Oh, got some big chunks of.
This is probably my basil problem.
Your basil problem. That's okay. It's okay. All right. I'm going to take this and we're going to place it here. What I did previously is I did some whipped topping. What it is just heavy whipped cream and about 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and you're going to whip it up to, it can't whip up anymore, and it's nice and thick like this.
Looks great.
Yes. Whip topping. Fresh whipped topping. Oh, gosh. Once you have that, you can't go back. I can't, yeah. We're going to get a good portion of this in here, and I'm going to set this aside. So I put it in a nice little piping bag because, one, it kind of helps to just squeeze it into our containers. And I'm just going to put a nice little good dollop down there. And as you can tell, it makes about 4 servings of this stuff. All right, and we'll add some more later. Now, we're going to then scoop up our, it's about 3/4 cup that we're going to put into each of our containers. But before we do that, we're going to add our crust. So this crust is actually, it's a finely chopped, it has cashews and almonds in there. So it's really going to add a nice little like earthiness flavor to that. And that is about a good 2 tablespoons that we're sprinkling on here. Oh, wait, did I do 2?
I got 2.
Now I got 2. I'm gonna put that in here. And this dessert is easy to do, so you can do this like in the early part of the day, and if you have guests that come over, then you can kind of enjoy it, you know?
Sure.
And then go do your little grilling and stuff, because don't you have like a what, wood?
Wood-fired pizza oven.
Yes, right, at your facility, correct?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really the mainstay of our food is wood-fired cooking, mostly pizzas.
Oh. See, I like that, yeah. So it's going to look like it's just a little like jelly, but once it sets into the refrigerator, it will kind of just solidify a little bit more.
And you can see the xanthan gum.
Yeah, the xanthan gum is kind of firming it up, yeah. It almost has like a tapioca kind of like feel to it.
Looks great.
Yeah, put it in there. And if those that want to add like a little bit of color, you can put a couple like teaspoons of like yellow food coloring if you wanted to kind of add a little bit more brightness to the color, but I kind of like the whole earthiness of, you know, the natural food of it. And this will be just, let me skip the rest of this out, and we are good. Bam! Okay. Can you smell that?
It smells great.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right. Now we are going to add a little bit more topping. I'm going to add to this stuff. All right.
All right.
A little bit more. in. This stuff, when I made this stuff, my son was like, you got any leftover? Like, of course I do.
Yeah, come on, Mom.
I know. I was like, come on, Mom. You're not going to give me any? I'm like, yeah, you can have this portion, you can have, yeah. So, all right, and then we're just going to just add a nice little dollop to the top of this. And then we are going to put it in the refrigerator. But before we do that, all right, is that enough? I swear, I can never get enough whipped topping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this and like fresh baked bread, it's like my weakness. All right, how can we do this without
beer and bread, beer and
I know,
beer and a specialty dessert. That's great.
So we're gonna put a little bit of lemon zest for that added color. All right, and okay. Oh, basil. So for here, what I did is I like to take
garnishing it.
Yeah, with some of the small little basil leaves.
Sure.
So if you want to grab, see if you find a couple of
some smaller leaves.
some small ones over there, and you can do those too. Got to make you like work for it, you know.
I think this is a job I can take. There we go.
It was like ta-da! Yeah. There you go.
Let's get this guy.
That little one right there. Beautiful.
All right.
So I would recommend, so once these, you're going to put them in the refrigerator. You can leave them uncovered, that's fine. And you want to just let them set for about an hour, at least an hour or two. You know?
Sure.
And by that time, you're doing your grilling.
Let them firm up, they're nice and cool.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then have some beer. We're going to enjoy that portion.
Absolutely.
With all of this stuff. But, so this is, and the basil, I would prefer, use fresh basil, by all means, because it's really going to bring out the flavor in all of our, in the products that we're using today.
I'm excited to try this.
So, so you said you're doing pizzas, and what else? Do you use that all you do at your
Well, we have a couple
facility,
other dishes, but you know, pizza's the main player. I mean, we're really a brewery. We love food, and we love pairing, our beer with good food. So the pizzas are the main player. We do some other dishes. We do a bratwurst plate, a traditional German bratwurst plate.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
And we do some, some specialty salads and things like that. But we keep it pretty simple and fresh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this could be a nice little, it's a quick and easy dessert menu.
Absolutely.
That maybe your, staff can do, and then you can add this to,
I think this would be a great dessert, and the fact that it integrates and you can really get that aroma off of there, I think it would pair perfectly with a small glass of the poppies. And
or any of some of those other, because you do like different styles of beer. So, but I know we'll get more into that when we'll sit down and enjoy our desserts and get a little bit more of that. But again, we're on our Facebook page, the Tap to Table Facebook page, and it's Tap to the number 2 table of Facebook, and we will list the recipe and how to get to how to make these, along with the Schilling beer website. And we have John today, and I do appreciate you coming on board today for doing this. And now we are definitely will be enjoying this delicious treat.
Looking forward to it.
So,
thanks, Marie.
All right. We'll see you in a few. And of course, remember, 2-drink minimum when you're watching the show. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you have your drinks ready, because we are now ready to tap into our desserts. So this is my guest again from Schilling Beer. John, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Are you ready to dig in?
Looking forward to dig in.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the beer that we use, called Poppy's Moon Chip Beer, and which we end up calling it Lemon Moonringue Dessert. So let's open that baby up and let's go from there. So what inspired you to create this style of beer?
So we've got a real passion for German beer. I lived in German-speaking Europe for the better part of a decade.
Okay.
And was there mostly as an educator, but fell in love with the beer styles. I mean, we were taking beercations before that was a term.
Oh.
And You know, up in the eastern part of Germany, in Saxony, they brew the style of beer. It's a regional specialty, and it's a Gose, and it's really had a resurgence in the U.S. over the last years, really the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a real oddball for a German beer because it's not a technical clean lager. It actually, in many ways, plays like a Belgian beer. It's sour. It's flavored with coriander as the main player in terms of the late boil flavor, and it's brewed with sea salt. So the water that they use in Saxony is normally a little salty. That salinity needs to come through a little bit. Ours is not on the very salty end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's a little more tart. It's actually very tart for the style, and that's how we wanted it. We wanted this to be you know, something that would challenge your palate, but also be refreshing and something you could drink in the summertime.
Yeah, I do. I've noticed that this type of beer was, it almost had like kind of a champagne kind of taste to it. So that's one thing I really, really enjoyed it. It's very refreshing, and I would want to drink it like all year round. I don't think it's just a summer beer.
Yeah, for me, it's not just a summer beer. I think a lot of people find the acidity to it to be really very refreshing. You know, sit out in the beer garden at our place, or on the deck overlooking the Ammonoosuc, and it's a good sessionable beer. It's not too high in alcohol either.
Yeah. So let's cheers to that.
Cheers, prost.
Cheers, toast. Yeah, the first time I tried this beer, it was one of those, like, I tasted it, I'm like, it's a little sour. Like, I don't know. Like, I need to try it again. And then I tried it, and then you literally like, okay, now I want to consume it all the time. It does. It has that kind of addicting kind of like flavor that's been, you know, added to it. So I don't know what you put in it, but it's definitely a major 2 thumbs up for this one.
Thank you. Glad you're enjoying it. Well, and I'm really excited to dig into this because I think, like as I said during the cooking portion, you know, this is a really pretty flavorful beer, right? So having it in, you know, complementing a dessert and actually being a big player in the dessert, I'm happy
to absolutely
see how this comes out. Looks awesome.
So yeah, let's dig in. You want to do, you know, a little bit of both, like the cream and also the filling. Oh,
that's great.
That's good. Now I dig in. I'm gonna try to do like a little like triple layer. I got the filling, I got the crust, and the cream.
That's nice. The basil in it is great.
Isn't that? Oh my gosh. I know. I have my moments, guys, and this is one of them. So.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's one thing. So you had mentioned you were at chemistry.
I was a chemist.
Or a chemist,
and used it primarily in education. So, you know, beer was always a passion of mine since college. You know, like a lot of younger guys, I had a first experience abroad. I thought I needed to be able to recreate the beers that I loved so much, and so I started home brewing and did that for almost, you know, 15, 16 years before we started thinking about doing this commercially.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it grew into a passion. My wife is just a lovely person. Let me take over the basement and turn it into a brewery.
I think that the support, I think also not only encourages whenever you're doing any sort of adventure, I think it having that support really helps to try to drive forward with all that. So I know, your beer, I know you have different styles. You had like Belgian, you also had a Scandinavian type. So what all of y'all European or inspired?
Yeah, so
or y'all European as well?
Well, you know, so we're all American born, and I'm the oddball in the group. So our group is a family that I've been very, very close with, you know, growing up in northern Michigan, and Jeff, my partner, has been a best friend since we were little kids. But his brothers have become like my brothers, and their dad, who's our partner as well, has become like a dad to me as well. Great group of guys, you know, and we've all had our time in Europe. But my specific experience was in German-speaking Europe with lots of travel out, and so that Central European influence really plays out in our beers. Yeah. So we do a lot of Belgian beers. It's been interesting. So it's been a really interesting arc for us to see ourselves become considered really a Belgian-focused brewery that also does German beers and some Polish beers. And
Yeah.
since we've opened almost 2 years ago, we've done about 60 beers. So we experiment. We do a lot of different things.
So I also read that you're distributing this year, correct? In a lot of places. Are you just in the state of New Hampshire, or can people find you in other states as well?
Actually, we're just starting to move a little bit, and the whole story is that we don't have a lot of beer to move yet. We're very small, so for folks who are watching who know the beer business, we're a 5.5 barrel brewery, which is really small.
Yeah.
So we sell most of that on tap on our own wall. And then a real small portion goes out, and we're trying to actually capture some folks who travel to see us. So we have a little bit of beer sprinkled into the Boston market. A little bit will be here in New Hampshire, and a little bit in Vermont too, just to catch some of that tourism, that beer tourism that gets funneled towards Littleton and the surrounding area.
Yeah. So in Littleton, I read that so your place was built back in like 1700s?
It was 1797. It was originally a grist mill, and
Okay.
actually all of the workings on the mill are still in place down
Yeah?
in the cellar. Beautifully redone.
Oh, wow.
We've left that intact, and
Really?
we retrofitted the brewery right around it, which is an incredible thing. Sometimes I think it was a thing of folly. It works, but we work hard to be in a really old space. We love the ambiance, and we love what the building provides, and the fact that it's on the river, and it's a great spot on the Ammonoosuc River. There's some falls and a little bit of white water right there.
So it
It's a
just
great
adds
spot.
to the whole experience of going there, having your pizza and the beer and just the whole experience.
Absolutely.
That is one thing that I do love about New England is the whole history that it was like here, that people, all these crazy things and these beautiful like structures and so on. And so now I'm going to ask the question.
Sure.
Is there any ghost?
That's a good question.
Do you have anything floating around that's like kind of creepy?
Not that
No?
not that I've experienced. No, every once in a while I know our assistant brewer gets a little spooked in the building when he's by himself. I don't think so. It's a neat space. Yeah, been pretty tame.
Been pretty tame.
My partners get a little rowdy every now and again.
Oh, well, are you sure it's not the beer that's like causing all of that?
Oh, they're just unique individuals.
Oh, really? Well, that's good. That's, I do appreciate it, and that you kind of ventured out and you did this. And I mean, I love the logo, the
Thank
beer
you.
itself. I mean, I tried, a couple of different beers from one of the brew festivals and enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
So you can see when someone does take a lot of time to create, it really shows. It's
Thank you.
not just a regular, it's a nice ale, but is it really, does it stand out? And so,
Well, we're passionate about brewing in those styles, and we brew beer. Honestly, we brew it for us, and a lot of brewers say that. I think it's true for most folks. I'm sure you would agree too with cooking and baking that you got to brew and you got to make what you like, and you introduce it to other people. And we don't necessarily brew for the masses. We brew for people. We hope that they can like a product like we do, and sometimes it takes a little time to experience something new. It goes, like you said, it's sour, a little bit
Yeah.
surprising at first, maybe a little challenging on the palate.
Yeah.
I think it's
'cause
once
it's a little bit of that lactobacterius that's in
absolutely,
there.
yeah, we do it as a wild fermentation, so there are other microbes that are in there too. But the lactobacteria, we create a condition set for the lacto to do its thing.
Yeah.
And that's why you get that tart. The pH is actually really very, very low. And that's why you don't see a lot of head retention on this beer. So it drinks, it doesn't look like it's very well carbonated.
Yep.
It's very spritzy, but you don't
But-
see that head retention up on the
Yeah,
tongue.
yeah, and it's because it's due to that process.
Yeah, and it's the lower pH. You see a lot of sour beers that are very, very low in carbonation.
Yeah, because that is becoming a growing trend. I've noticed that more and more people are kind of going into that type of, so their palates, everyone's palates have changed.
Right.
As
Yeah.
far as just a regular, IPA
Absolutely.
kind of beer.
Absolutely.
So I do this. Yeah, it's very, it's so tasty.
Well, cheers to that.
Yes, absolutely. So we can find more information about Schilling Beer it's schillingbeer.com.
At schillingbeer.com.
It is schillingbeer.com. And you have, lists like all your events when you're, where people can come by and see you and taste the beers and so on.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've got some, and we do some fun events up in that area. We do an Oktoberfest, and it's still on site as we grow.
Yeah.
We'll probably move to a larger place in terms of where we do that festival, but for right now, it's nice and intimate. It's on our grounds, and that's coming up on September 26th. We do the traditional German thing and do Oktoberfest in September, but that's right around the corner.
So we'll wrap it up, and they are located in Littleton, New Hampshire. You can find out more on our Tap to Table Facebook page and how to get in contact with them and enjoy a lot of their beers. And again, as always, thanks for joining us, and remember this: strength, safe, and peace. Have a good one, guys. Thanks.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.